Jax's revenge domain.
They handed me the petition at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, 25 signatures demanding my immediate resignation. The paper still smelled like Cassandra Westfield's expensive perfume. I'm Warren Bailey, 49 years old, and I'd been running cybersecurity at TechFlow Dynamics for exactly 8 months when they decided I needed to go. Let me tell you how this whole thing started, because it's not what you'd expect. The timing was perfect, really. I was in the middle of tracking what looked like a state-sponsored attack on our autonomous vehicle algorithms when Cassandra walked into my office with that petition. Her heels clicked against the concrete floor like incoming artillery. I adjusted my tactical watch without looking up from the monitor. See, TechFlow wasn't some startup. We'd been around for 30 years, built government defense systems before moving into commercial automotive tech. The kind of place where a data breach doesn't just cost you money, it costs you everything. When I got hired, they were hemorrhaging contracts because some kid in their IT department thought cloud storage was the same thing as secure storage. Warren, she said, setting the petition on my desk next to my coffee mug, the executive team has reached a consensus. I glanced at the document, 25 names, all department heads and senior staff. The header read, Petition for immediate termination, Warren Bailey, Senior Cybersecurity Operations Manager. Now you have to understand something about Cassandra Westfield. She wasn't just the CEO's wife, she was the former marketing executive who married into the business when her father sold his manufacturing firm to TechFlow 5 years ago. Smart woman knew how to work a room. But she also thought cybersecurity was something you could outsource to the lowest bidder. Threat assessment complete, I said, still watching the network traffic on my screens, proceeding with countermeasures. She blinked. Excuse me, just talking to my system. I saved the threat analysis and finally looked at her. What's the operational objective here, Mrs. Westfield? Cassandra crossed her arms. She ran the quarterly retreats and team-building initiatives that ate into our security budget, the kind of events where executives spent 3 days at luxury resorts talking about synergy while hackers probably planned their next attack. The objective is maintaining team morale, she said. Your military approach is disrupting collaboration. People feel intimidated. I checked my watch. The APT group I'd been tracking had been dormant for 37 minutes. In my experience, that usually meant they were repositioning for a larger assault. Advanced persistent threat groups don't take coffee breaks. They probe, they wait, they strike when you're looking the other way. Which people? I asked. Everyone signed the petition voluntarily. I scanned the names again, Shane Parker from IT, most of the marketing team. Several project managers who wouldn't know a firewall from a surge protector. None of them had clearance to understand what I actually did here. None of them knew that I'd been tracking systematic attempts to steal our autonomous vehicle research for the past 2 months. And Jeffrey supports this decision. My husband values team cohesion over individual performance. That was interesting intel. Jeffrey Westfield was actually a decent CEO. Inherited the company when he married Cassandra, but he knew how to run operations. He'd specifically hired me after the last security breach cost them an $8 million contract with Detroit Automotive. The client had walked away citing data protection concerns when their preliminary design somehow ended up in a competitor's patent filing. I'd been brought in to fix that, to build a security system that could protect not just our data, but our reputation. And for 8 months, that's exactly what I'd been doing. Timeline for implementation? I asked. Immediately. Security will escort you out after you sign the acknowledgement. I nodded and returned to my monitors. The network traffic had shifted again. Someone was probing our research division firewall, testing response times. It was like watching someone case a house, checking which windows were unlocked, which alarms were working. I'll need to secure my systems first. Shane can handle the transition. Shane Parker, 35 years old, ambitious as hell, and absolutely convinced that my outdated military protocols were slowing down innovation. He favored cloud-based solutions with minimal local security. Last month, he'd actually suggested moving our IP database to a third-party server to improve collaboration efficiency. When I explained why that was basically handing our research to anyone with a decent laptop, he said I was being paranoid. Shane doesn't have clearance for these protocols. He'll get clearance. I adjusted my watch again. The probing attacks had intensified. Whatever was coming, it was coming soon. In Iraq, we'd learned to recognize this exact pattern. Small probes to test defenses, then radio silence, then overwhelming force. The silence was always the most dangerous part because that's when they were coordinating the real attack. Mrs. Westfield, I need to brief someone on current threat assessment before I process out. That won't be necessary. Shane is fully qualified to maintain our systems. The monitor chimed, motion detected in the research database. Someone had accessed the autonomous vehicle project files, not downloading anything yet, just checking access permissions like a burglar testing doorknobs to see which rooms were unlocked. Roger that, I said. I'll initiate shutdown procedures. She left with her petition, probably heading back to her office to call whoever was next on her list of people who needed to be more collaborative. I had maybe 20 minutes before security showed up to escort me out. 20 minutes to implement the lockdown protocols I've been designing since my first day on the job. See, the thing about military experience is you always prepare for the worst-case scenario. When I built TechFlow's new security architecture, I didn't just focus on external threats. I designed it to protect against internal vulnerabilities too, including the vulnerability of key personnel being removed at critical moments. The system I'd installed wasn't just a firewall. It was an autonomous defense network with machine learning capabilities. It monitored user behavior, tracked access patterns, and could identify anomalous activity even when it came from authorized accounts. More importantly, it required biometric verification from the senior security officer for any major changes to core protocols. That would be me. I pulled up the master control interface. For the past 2 months, I'd been watching a sophisticated group systematically map our network infrastructure. They weren't smash-and-grab hackers looking for credit card numbers. These guys were patient, professional, and they knew exactly what they were after. Our autonomous vehicle algorithms represented 5 years of research and about $200 million in development costs. But here's what made this whole situation interesting. The external probing had started intensifying right around the same time. Cassandra began building her case against me. 6 weeks ago, she'd mentioned to Jeffrey that my communication style was causing problems. 4 weeks ago, she started talking about how my security protocols were inhibiting innovation. 2 weeks ago, she suggested that maybe a more collaborative approach would better serve the company's culture. I activated full defensive mode. The system locked down all external access points, initiated continuous monitoring of internal network traffic, and began logging every keystroke on every terminal. If someone was planning an attack during the transition period, they'd find themselves facing a very different environment than they expected. Then I did something else, something that would either save the company or get me sued for corporate sabotage. I programmed the system to escalate threat reporting directly to the board of directors. If it detected coordinated attacks during periods of security personnel transitions, not to Jeffrey, not to the IT department, but straight to Theodore Blackwell, the 68-year-old chairman who'd founded this company in his garage back in 1994. Theodore was old-school engineering, built TechFlow on defense contracts before expanding into commercial tech. He understood that in our business, information security wasn't just about protecting data, it was about protecting lives. Autonomous vehicles weren't video games. If someone hacked our collision avoidance algorithms and people died, that wasn't just a lawsuit, that was blood on our hands. 23 minutes later, security arrived, 2 guards I'd worked with before, both good guys just following orders from upstairs. "Sorry about this, Warren," said Mike. "The senior guard, orders came down from executive level. No worries, Mike, just doing your job." I handed over my access cards, signed the acknowledgement paperwork, and packed my personal items. The tactical watch stayed on my wrist. As we walked past the research division, I could see Shane Parker already at my former desk, trying to access the security console. He'd been clicking the same menu for about 5 minutes. The system was asking for biometric verification, but Shane's fingerprints weren't in the authorized database. I almost smiled. Almost. The ride home gave me time to think. Cassandra had played this well from a social engineering perspective. Remove the security expert right when the company was most vulnerable, then install someone more collaborative who wouldn't ask uncomfortable questions about unusual network activity or after-hours database access. But she'd made one tactical error. She assumed I'd built a system that could be easily transferred to new management. Military engineers don't design systems that fail when leadership changes. We design systems that protect the mission regardless of personnel casualties. My house is about 20 minutes from TechFlow's headquarters, a modest place I'd bought after my divorce 3 years ago. Nothing fancy, but it has a basement office where I keep my personal equipment. Government contractors develop certain habits about maintaining independent communication capabilities. I spent the evening setting up monitoring software to track TechFlow's external security posture. Nothing illegal, just checking their public-facing systems for any signs of compromise. Standard due diligence for a former employee concerned about intellectual property theft. The signs started showing up around 11 p.m. Subtle changes in their website response times. Database queries happening during off hours when most staff had gone home. Small alterations in server traffic patterns that suggested someone was systematically copying large amounts of data. By Thursday morning, my automated alerts were going crazy. Someone had made 347 attempts to access the autonomous vehicle research files between midnight and 3 a.m. All the attempts used Shane Parker's administrative credentials, but they were coming from an IP address traced to a server farm in Estonia. That's when my phone rang. Geoffrey Westfield Warren, we need to talk. About what, sir? Can you come in? There's been a development. The security guard at the front desk looked confused when I showed up. Technically, I wasn't supposed to have access to the building anymore, but Geoffrey had called ahead, so they escorted me up to his office where I found him sitting with Theodore Blackwell. Theodore was studying a stack of printouts with the kind of expression you see on doctors delivering bad news. He looked up when I walked in. Warren, he said, tell me about your security system. Which aspect, sir? The part that's been sending me detailed threat assessment reports every 4 hours since Tuesday afternoon. So the escalation protocols had worked exactly as designed. I'd programmed the system to contact Theodore directly if it detected sustained attack patterns during security transitions. Apparently, it had been very busy. Theodore held up one of the prinouts network logs showing 1,247 unauthorized access attempts over the past 48 hours, all targeting our research databases. All coming from foreign IP addresses, all happening during overnight hours when Shane Parker was supposedly the only IT staff monitoring the systems. Shane says these are probably just automated scanning attempts, Geoffrey added. Nothing to worry about. Theodore's expression didn't change. Warren, in your professional opinion, do these look like random scans? I studied the logs. The attack patterns were too coordinated, too focused. Random scans hit everything. These were surgical strikes targeting specific research databases. Negative, sir. This indicates advanced reconnaissance by sophisticated threat actors. That's what I thought. Theodore handed me another report. Someone downloaded 347 gigabytes of data from our research servers last night. Shane's access credentials were used, but the download originated from an external IP address in Eastern Europe. The room went dead quiet. Geoffrey had stopped adjusting his tie, which he always did when he was nervous. Theodore was staring at the network logs like they were evidence in a murder trial. Sir, I said, recommend immediate lockdown of all research database access pending security audit. Theodore nodded slowly. Already ordered it, but there's more. He opened another folder, this one containing what looked like financial records. Warren, your system has been tracking more than just cyber attacks. It's been monitoring internal communications patterns, employee access schedules, and correlation analysis between personnel decisions and security incidents. This was the part I'd been hoping they wouldn't discover too quickly. The system I'd built wasn't just defensive, it was investigative. It had been learning the normal patterns of company operations and flagging anomalies that might indicate insider threats. The system identified several concerning correlations, Theodore continued. For instance, every time Shane Parker worked overnight shifts, there were corresponding spikes in external network probing. Over the past 6 weeks, there were 23 instances where Shane was the only IT personnel on duty during suspicious network activity. Geoffrey was looking at his wife's petition again. Theodore, when did Cassandra first mention that Warren was a cultural problem? According to her emails to you, exactly 6 weeks ago. The same week these systematic probing attempts began, I adjusted my watch. The timeline was becoming clear, but I needed to be careful about how much I revealed. In the military, we learned that intelligence is only useful if you don't expose your sources and methods. Sir, request permission to brief you on additional findings. Theodore gestured for me to continue. The attacks we've been tracking aren't random opportunistic hackers. This is a coordinated industrial espionage operation. The targeting is too precise, the timing too coordinated. Someone with inside knowledge has been providing reconnaissance data to external threat actors. I pulled up the detailed analysis on Theodore's computer. The attackers knew exactly which databases contained our most valuable research. They knew our staff schedules. They knew when security protocols would be weakest. That level of operational intelligence requires human assets inside the company. Geoffrey stood up and walked to the window. Warren, are you suggesting that Shane is working with foreign hackers? I'm suggesting that someone has been systematically compromising our security posture from within. Whether it's deliberate collaboration or unwitting manipulation, the result is the same. Theodore was studying the correlation charts. What about the petition? 25 people signed that document. Most of those signatures came from departments that have no visibility into security operations. Marketing, HR, project management, they signed because someone they trusted told them I was causing problems. Someone like my wife, Geoffrey said quietly. I didn't answer that directly. In the military, you learn to present facts and let commanders draw their own conclusions, but the facts were pretty damning. Theodore opened yet another folder. Warren, there's something else you need to see. This morning I received a call from Detroit Automotive. They were concerned about rumors that TechFlow had suffered a major security breach. that got my attention. Detroit Automotive was our biggest client, worth $120 million in annual contracts. If they got spooked about data security, we could lose everything. Rumors from what source? Anonymous tip to their corporate security department? Someone claiming that TechFlow's autonomous vehicle algorithms had been stolen and were being sold to Chinese automotive manufacturers. Jeffrey turned around. But that's not true, right? I mean, we would know if our algorithms had been compromised. Theodore and I exchanged looks. In the intelligence community, we have a saying, the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. Just because we hadn't detected a successful theft didn't mean it hadn't happened. Sir, recommend immediate audit of all research data to verify integrity. Already in progress, Theodore said. But here's the interesting part. The anonymous tip to Detroit Automotive came 3 days ago. Before Shane ever had access to your security protocols, before anyone outside this room knew about the systematic attacks we've been tracking. The implications hit me immediately. Someone had been planning this operation for weeks. They'd arranged for my removal, positioned Shane to disable security protocols, and even prepared to damage our client relationships with false rumors about data theft. This is a comprehensive corporate sabotage operation, I said. They're not just trying to steal our research. They're trying to destroy our business relationships and market position. Jeffrey sat back down heavily. Who would do something like this? Someone with detailed knowledge of our operations, our client relationships, and our personnel. Someone who understands that in the defense contracting world, reputation for security is everything. Theodore was making notes on his legal pad. Warren, I need you to prepare a comprehensive threat assessment report. Everything you've discovered, all the evidence your system has collected. Can you have it ready by this afternoon? Yes, sir. But I'll need access to my security console to compile the full dataset. Done. I'm reinstating your clearance immediately. Jeffrey looked up. Theodore, what about Shane and Cassandra? Shane Parker is suspended pending investigation. As for your wife? Theodore paused. Jeffrey, I've known you since you were 25 years old. You're a good CEO and a good man, but personal relationships can't compromise corporate security. The weight of that statement settled over the room. Joffrey's marriage was about to become collateral damage in what was shaping up to be the largest corporate espionage case in TechFlow's history. I understand, Jeffrey said quietly. Theodore stood up. Warren, I want you back in your office immediately, full access, full authority, and I want hourly updates on any new developments. As I walked back toward the security office, I could see Shane Parker cleaning out his desk under supervision. 2 security guards were boxing up his personal items while an IT forensics specialist was imaging his computer hard drive. Shane looked up as I passed, and for just a moment I saw something in his eyes that wasn't surprise or confusion. It was relief. Like someone who'd been carrying a heavy burden and was finally glad to put it down. That's when I realized this operation was bigger than I'd initially thought. Shane Parker wasn't the mastermind. He was just another asset being managed by someone with a much more sophisticated understanding of corporate warfare. Back in my office, I dove into the forensic analysis. The security system had been busy while I was gone, collecting evidence like a digital crime scene investigator. What I found over the next 4 hours painted a picture that was both more complex and more disturbing than I'd initially suspected. The data theft hadn't been random. Someone had specifically targeted our most sensitive algorithms, the collision avoidance systems, the autonomous navigation protocols, and the machine learning models we'd spent 3 years developing. But they'd been careful about it, taking just enough data to reverse engineer our systems without triggering obvious alarms. More interesting was what they'd left behind, hidden in the network logs. I found evidence of data manipulation. Someone hadn't just stolen our research, they'd subtly altered some of our testing data. Small changes that would be almost impossible to detect without deep forensic analysis, but significant enough to potentially cause failures in real-world applications. This wasn't just industrial espionage, this was sabotage. I was deep in the analysis when my computer chimed with an urgent alert. Another major intrusion attempt was in progress, but this one was different. Instead of the careful, systematic probing we'd been seeing, this was a brute force attack. Someone was trying to access our backup servers using administrative credentials. The credentials belonged to Cassandra Westfield. I immediately initiated emergency lockdown protocols and called Theodore's direct line. Sir, we have an active breach attempt using Mrs. Westfield's administrative access. That's impossible, Theodore said. Cassandra doesn't have administrative access to technical systems. According to our logs, she was granted elevated privileges 6 weeks ago, authorized by Shane Parker with approval from CEO Jeffrey Westfield. Silence on the other end of the line. Sir, recommend immediate conference with all parties. 20 minutes later, we were back in Jeffrey's office. This time, Cassandra was there too, looking composed but with tension around her eyes that suggested she knew this wasn't a routine meeting. Theodore laid out the evidence methodically, the systematic attacks, the correlation with personnel decisions, the data manipulation, and now the attempt to access backup servers using Cassandra's credentials. "I don't understand," Cassandra said. "I requested access to employee performance databases for my culture initiatives. I never accessed any technical systems. I pulled up the access logs on Jeffrey's computer. Mrs. Westfield, your credentials were used to access the autonomous vehicle research database 47 times over the past 6 weeks. Always during overnight hours. Always from remote IP addresses." Jeffrey was staring at his wife like he'd never seen her before. "Cassandra, did you give your login information to anyone?" "Of course not." She paused. "Shane helped me set up the initial access. He said the system was complicated and that he'd handle the technical aspects for me." Theodore and I exchanged looks. Shane Parker had been using Cassandra's credentials to access systems while maintaining plausible deniability. If caught, he could claim he was just helping her with legitimate administrative tasks. "Mrs. Westfield," Theodore said carefully, "did Shane ever ask you to access specific files or databases?" "He said he needed help downloading employee satisfaction surveys for analysis. He showed me which folders to access, but I never looked at the actual files." The picture was becoming clear. Shane had manipulated Cassandra into becoming an unwitting accomplice, using her administrative access to bypass security protocols while she thought she was helping with HR initiatives. But there was still a bigger question. Shane Parker was 35 years old with a computer science degree from a state school. This operation showed sophistication that suggested professional intelligence training. "Theodore," I said, "recommend we contact federal authorities. This appears to be organized industrial espionage with potential foreign intelligence connections." Jeffrey's phone rang before Theodore could respond. He glanced at the caller ID and looked puzzled. "Detroit Automotive calling back," he said, answering on speaker. "This is Jeffrey Westfield." "Mr. Westfield, this is Patricia Chen, Director of Corporate Security at Detroit Automotive. We need to discuss the security breach at your facility." Joffrey looked at Theodore. "I'm not sure what you mean. We haven't reported any security breach." "Sir, we received credible intelligence this morning that TechFlow's autonomous vehicle algorithms have been compromised and are being offered for sale to foreign automotive manufacturers. We're suspending all collaborative projects pending investigation." The room went silent. $120 million in annual revenue had just walked out the door. "Ms. Chen," Theodore said, "who provided this intelligence anonymous source with detailed knowledge of your internal systems. They provided specific technical documentation that appears to match your proprietary research." After the call ended, we sat in stunned silence. Someone had not only stolen our research but was now using it to destroy our business relationships. This was economic warfare. "Warren," Theodore said finally, "how quickly can you determine the full scope of the compromise?" "Give me 48 hours with full system access and a forensics team. Done. Whatever you need." Over the next 2 days, we uncovered the complete operation. Shane Parker had been recruited 18 months ago, shortly after joining TechFlow. His handler was a woman named Elena Volkov, supposedly a technology consultant, but actually an intelligence operative specializing in corporate infiltration. The plan had been elegant in its simplicity. Use Shane's position to gradually weaken security protocols while building a case for removing the one person who might detect the operation, me. Use Cassandra's administrative access to maintain plausible deniability. Steal the research, manipulate our data to cause future product failures, and destroy our client relationships with strategic leaks. By Friday afternoon, we had enough evidence to turn over to the FBI. Shane Parker was arrested at his apartment, along with 3 other individuals connected to the espionage network. Cassandra was cleared of intentional wrongdoing but agreed to resign from all company positions. The Detroit Automotive contract was restored after we provided them with the full intelligence briefing about the operation. In fact, they were so impressed with our security capabilities that they increased their annual contract to $150 million. Theodore called me into his office the following Monday. "Warren, the board has authorized me to offer you the position of Chief Information Security Officer. Full executive authority over all cybersecurity operations, report directly to the board. 40% salary increase." I adjusted my tactical watch one final time. "Threat assessment complete, sir. Accepting mission parameters." 6 months later, TechFlow's security architecture has become an industry standard. We've consulted for 12 other companies that experienced similar attacks. Shane Parker was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for industrial espionage. Elena Volkov was never found, but her operation was completely dismantled. Cassandra and Jeffrey divorced quietly. Last I heard, she'd moved back to California and started a small marketing consultancy. Joffrey remarried a year later to a woman who worked in our accounting department and had no interest in company politics. The petition with 25 signatures is still on my desk, now framed as a reminder. Sometimes the best defense is just being too stubborn to quit. You know what I learned from all this? In corporate America, there's always someone who thinks they can game the system, who believes that politics and manipulation matter more than competence and results. They're usually wrong, but they can do a lot of damage before the truth comes out. The key is building systems that protect the mission regardless of personnel changes, and never assuming that everyone has the company's best interests at heart. Experience teaches you that paranoia isn't a character flaw, it's a professional skill. And sometimes being the guy who asks uncomfortable questions isn't about being difficult, it's about being responsible for something bigger than office politics.